Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greatlocs. I'm Gunther the Great, and today we have another question, and it's really interesting and kind of similar to the last video, but this one is a little more specific, so let's get straight into it. Now this question comes from Peace on Instagram. It says, how are you? I have a question. It says, what should I do to make my hairstyle like this one? Down below, you guys see it. Is there any oil I can use, or any ways or any methods? I'm sure that is what they're asking. So there is a way that you can manipulate your hair to make it look like this. And of course you can just start out with twisting with gel, or say you do instant locks using a crochet hook, or I would probably mostly recommend using a sponge. If you do have hair that is above a 3B, so 3B all the way through 4C, I would recommend using a sponge on that, and then just allowing it to freeform afterwards. Because this hair right here that you see in the picture is completely freeform dreadlocks. And this guy has a 4C hair type. So with 4C hair type, your hair will automatically lock up just like any other hair type. But say you have straight hair, completely straight, it's gonna take probably 2 years for it to even lock up. But with 4C hair type, it might take 2 months for it to lock up and become freeform locks. But how do you make your hair look specifically like this picture? I would say the number one way that you can do this is start out with sponge rub. Now, like I said, I'm expecting this person to have a hair type above 3B, so 3B through 4C. Now, to be honest, if you really want your hair like this person, you want your hair to be a 4C because that's what their hair type is. So having a 4C hair type and going completely freeform. Now, if you don't have 4C, or if you don't want to go completely freeform, then how do you still get your hair like his? The number one method I would do is doing sponge, starting out with that. Sponge rub is basically taking one of the dreadlock sponges and then going clockwise or counterclockwise, and then allowing those to create sections. Once those sections are created, allow those sections to mature into dreadlocks. And then after that, don't do any more maintenance, because then your hair will end up turning out like this, because then that's what's called semi-freeform. That means that you started out with a method and then eventually allowed it to freeform afterwards. And this is actually a very popular method in the dreadlock community. A lot of people start out with a method and then allow it to freeform afterward. And we call it semi-freeform because it's not completely freeform and it's not completely using a method. Because all you're doing is you're starting out with a method and then allowing it to freely form on its own afterward. Because if you were to go completely freeform, then that's just allowing your hair to freely form, literally only washing it and allow it to dry. And what happens then is your hair naturally will create its own sections and then it will lock up. Because if you have any type of curl on your hair, then those curls will match up with other curls, tie them together, and then that locks up, and then so on and so forth. It's just a snowball effect. So when one lock is created, another one gets created, and those combine, and so on and so forth. But I can tell you this, now that you have dreadlock inspiration, it's easier to reach that mark. So now that you see his dreadlocks, you know what to do. So say you start out with sponge rub, or even instant locking with the crochet hook, which will instantly lock up the hair and then allow it to freely form afterward. Whatever you choose to do, you can make your hair look like this. I would just recommend you to constantly look at this and understand that you want your hair to look like that. And then you maintain it along the way to look just like this, then you can make that happen. Because essentially what's going on here is you could start out a dreadlock and then say you want to create some congos, so you pull some dreadlocks together using a crochet hook, and then you create some congos. Create a couple of those and then allow the hair to grow out. And then you have a bunch of new growth, that's what we see here. And then you have the congos on top of that. And that's really as simple as that. And then you have dreadlocks that are different sizes, which that's very easy to do. All you do is you create big sections, small sections, medium sections. You do them all throughout the head. And then, like I said, allow it to have new growth. And then you're basically set with how this guy's dreadlocks are, although he is completely freeform. But you can manipulate your hair to make it look like that. Speaking about that, it is good for you guys to have some dread inspiration. So look at someone that you want your hair to look like, and then if you constantly look at their hair and you just constantly manipulate your own hair to look like that, it will eventually look like that. Like for instance, I really liked Jaden Smith's first set of dreadlocks, and that was kind of my goal and inspiration. And if you look back at my first set of locks, there was kind of a resemblance to how my hair looked like and how his dreadlocks looked. But I do believe I've answered that question to the best of my ability. But if you do have any more questions on that subject, make sure to comment them down below, and then I'll answer them directly to you. And then also, if you have any other questions besides this one, make sure to leave them down below and I'll answer them in another video. And I know you guys did hear me mention the instant locking method, and you do that using the crochet hook. Make sure to pick up the crochet hook. I'm linking it down below. It's on greatlocs.com. And it is on sale right now, so make sure to get it now. Also, don't forget to go follow Greatlocs on Instagram. It's a family of people with different sets of dreadlocks, and it's really cool to see everybody. So if you follow us and tag us, you can be featured on the page. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.